rolled out in June to empower the rakyat, propel business, and stimulate the economy. I also wish to thank the relevant government agencies and authorities for being part of this milestone in recognizing link between private capital, foreign investor confidence, and economic recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, from the long arc of our economic transformation in the last half-century, Malaysia has always been a role model for development among emerging economies. The role that government plays in it and economic policies that we put in place have also evolved in tandem with the changes in our economic structure. For example, in the 1970s, we transitioned from an agriculture-based economy, from prioritizing investments in the public space, in education, rural development, infrastructure, to nurturing our nascent industrial base. In the mid-1980s to late 1990s, we embarked on a concerted industrialization push, integrating the domestic economy firmly into the global economy and turning Malaysia into an export-oriented manufacturing nation. In recent decades, we complemented this strategy by modernizing our services sector. Malaysia is currently at a critical juncture of our economic development. In the next decade, we have our sights fixed on transforming into an advanced and high-income economy. This vision has been part of a gradual but significant journey since Merdeka. However, the spread of COVID-19 has impacted this trajectory. On the flip side, however, it has accelerated the shift towards an economic model anchored on new technology, constant innovation, and digital governance. The government is continuously looking towards enhancing the rakyat's quality of life, and this pandemic is an opportunity to accelerate this goal, among others, deploying emerging digital technology. Along with this aspiration, our commitment to the sustainability of rakyat's livelihood and businesses still remains, and we are beginning to see green shoots of economic recovery. This is clear through encouraging uptick in indicators such as our national export, our industrial production index, sale of wholesale and retail trade, Malaysia's manufacturing purchasing managers index, the PMI, and net financing is also up to the private sector. What is also worth highlighting is Malaysia's unemployment rate in June 2020, which improved to 4.9% compared to 5.3% in May 2020. Prihatin and Penjana measures, which have saved and helped over 2.8 million jobs and benefited around 800,000 businesses, are no doubt key contributing factors to Malaysia's improved unemployment figures. Our economic strategy has always focused on enabling businesses to evolve and creating more innovative Malaysia tech and digital enterprises as part of our holistic effort to support the rakyat and businesses' well-being. To this end, we will need to also empower our private market ecosystem as a catalyst towards new economic development. A strong private market ecosystem will enable the effective nurturing of entrepreneurship and innovation. This is proven around the world, where private equity and venture capital are more readily available within a supportive ecosystem. This encourages the creation of many startups that may eventually become investors themselves, and hence creating a virtuous cycle. For the next phase of Malaysia's economic development, one of the most critical components lies in the intersection between identifying new sources of growth and the more effective mobilization of economic resources towards these areas, with the government playing a facilitative role. The reason for this is simple. Technology and innovation outpace policy and regulation. This is part of Moore's Law, and in the book, The Law of Disruption, right? I would also like to mention that more private sector involvement in venture investment and risk capital needs of startups and growth stage companies will mean that the government could deploy its capital for other nation-building objectives. I would now like to touch upon the value proposition of private capital. Private capital feeds competition and also ensures traditional businesses evolve in order to stay relevant. It powers the startup ecosystem all the way through to mid-cycle companies and those taking the step into public exchanges. As such, private or venture capital is seen as an attractive source of funding for small and medium enterprises, the SMEs, and mid-tier companies, who contribute to more than half of Malaysia's GDP. In fostering an entrepreneurial culture in Malaysia and to nurture the existing pipeline of entrepreneurs, Malaysia is well poised to be a hub for startups through government support, a well-regulated capital market system, a skilled workforce, a cost-competitive environment for doing business, and ready access to the ASEAN market. Testament to this is Malaysia's ranking in the 2018 Venture Capital and Private Equity Country Attractiveness Index. Malaysia ranked 13 out of 125 countries assessed in this index, which measures investors' focus indicators such as economic activity, depth of the capital market, as well as the level of investor protection and corporate governance. However, we noted that the size of venture capital investments in 2019 was also impacted by global headwinds. It amounted to 566.3 million ringgit as compared to 613.2 million ringgit in 2018. Total committed funds under management stood at 6 billion ringgit for 2019. While the foreign and local institutional investors are still optimistic about Malaysia's private markets, we must nevertheless ensure that it grows consistently. We must keep enhancing international investors' confidence to enable us to achieve that virtuous cycle in our private markets and venture capital space mentioned a moment ago. Recent economic stimulus and recovery measures in Prihatin and Penjana have included digitalization initiatives that support and empower businesses to navigate through this economic recovery. And I'm happy to share that this includes the establishment of a 1.2 billion ringgit investment funds of funds called Dana Penjana Nasional, or Dana Penjana. To ensure that Dana Penjana is effectively managed, the Ministry of Finance Incorporated has also set up Penjana Capital Sendirian Berhad, or called Penjana Capital. A dedicated board of directors and an investment panel have been appointed for Penjana Capital to ensure proper governance, transparency, and close monitoring of funds disbursed under Dana Penjana Nasional. Its board is made up of representatives from the Ministry of Finance, various industries, private sector players, and other relevant government agencies. Interested investors may submit their application to Penjana Capital in September 2020. Designed with a public-private collaborative structure in mind, Dana Penjana is well positioned to attract foreign private capital investment into promising Malaysian startups and SMEs through a capital matching program. Financing for Dana Penjana will be provided by the VC funds, both local and foreign, and the government will match this on a one-to-one basis only once after funding has been committed by them. This will help enhance the nation's economic growth by developing Malaysians' businesses in high-impact sectors, while at the same time empowering them to push the boundaries of innovation. Against this backdrop, I am confident that Dana Penjana Nasional will spur development of our private capital market by leveraging the local-foreign joint venture model to facilitate Malaysia's transition into the new economy. Under the current initiative, depending on the maturity of target startups, Dana Penjana will allocate funding across different stages of the venture capital life cycle, which are A, the seed co-creation stage, where support ranges from 500,000 to 5 million ringgit. The Series A-B stage, for companies that have passed the ideation stage, with funding from 5 million ringgit to 20 million ringgit. The growth stage, which represents the expansion stage for a company, with investment ranging from 20 million ringgit to 50 million ringgit. And venture debt, which provides short to mid-term financing for early, mid, and late-stage companies and startups, with funding ranging from 1 million ringgit to 10 million ringgit. In 2019, for instance, I was informed that the early stage and growth stage investments saw a robust deal activity of 167.7 million ringgit and 387.2 million ringgit respectively. More can be done, yeah, of course. I would like to emphasize that for Dana Penjana Nasional, the target sectors will include agri-tech, fintech, and healthcare. Moving forward, the fund will expand and cover other segments of private capital investments in the future, such as private equity and crowdfunding. Dana Penjana is also envisaged as a platform for private capital to help drive the nation's economic recovery post the COVID-19 crisis. Dana Penjana Nasional also acts as a conduit to develop and nurture talent within the venture capital space. I hope to see locally born venture capitalists identified as part of this initiative and nurtured into regional or global champions, partly by leveraging on Penjana Capital's board and investment panels members' diverse expertise, and the government will also surely stand to benefit from the board members' collective experience in the private capital space and more. I believe these efforts will lead to the growth of Malaysian startups by enabling them to tap into not just private capital, but also the global investors' expertise and know-how. This, in turn, enhances employment opportunities and sets Malaysia on the right track towards economic recovery and ultimately a high-income nation. Working in tandem with other agencies, including Securities Commission Malaysia, I am confident that Dana Penjana Nasional will be able to steer the development of the private markets in alignment with broader national development policies of the country. To everyone involved in this initiative, welcome on board, and I'm confident you will fulfill the mandated roles. Thank you for your noble involvement, and my gratitude too. To those foreign investors who have expressed serious interest in Dana Penjana as well, thank you. On that note, it is with great pleasure that I officially launch Dana Penjana Nasional. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yang Berhormat. If I could request for you to remain on stage for the launch. Very quickly now, I'd like to invite Datuk Asri Hamidon to join our Minister on stage for the launch of Dana Penjana Nasional. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the launch of Dana Penjana Nasional, I would like to invite our Finance Minister to press the button on the launch pad. Yang Berhormat, if you could please press. And we shall now announce the launch of Dana Penjana Nasional. With that, ladies and gentlemen, marks the launch of Dana Penjana Nasional. Can we have a photography session in the middle? If you could step forward, Yang Berhormat. Just for a photo session. Thank you very much, distinguished guests. You may now return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now draw your attention to the screen for a short clip of Dana Penjana Nasional.
Malaysia juga menghadapi cabaran yang agak getir. Dan untuk memacu pemulihan ekonomi negara melalui proses digitalisasi perniagaan, kerajaan akan membuka dana Penjana Nasional berjumlah 1.2 bilion ringgit dengan peruntukan 600 juta daripada kerajaan dan dipadankan dengan 600 juta daripada pelaburan domestik dan antarabangsa. Dana ini akan digunakan untuk memupuk inovasi dan mengembangkan bakat modal ketempatan ataupun domestic venture capital. Let me remind you that the war on COVID-19 is not yet over. The fight is still on. InsyaAllah kita akan berjaya menghalangi ujian yang bersama-sama. Kepada Allah dialah kita besar.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for the launch of Dana Penjana Nasional.
Dana Penjana Nasional aims to enable economic recovery and enhance the growth of the nation post-COVID-19 pandemic by spurring the private capital market. This is done by establishing a 600 million ringgit investment fund of funds, which will attract foreign private capital investment into innovative Malaysian businesses through a matching program. As Malaysia transitions towards becoming an advanced and high-income economy over the next decade, the structure of our economy will continue to undergo changes. COVID-19 has accelerated the shift towards the new economy, which is anchored on new technology and constant innovation. As such, there is a need for Dana Penjana Nasional to attract fresh capital investment into the country and to disburse these funds to Malaysian businesses in need, particularly as many of our local businesses are struggling as a result of the pandemic.
The Securities Commission Malaysia, as the regulator, is committed to facilitate the development of the Malaysian capital market. Dana Penjana has the potential to see a more effective mobilization of risk capital towards new areas of growth in our economy.
Malaysia has one of the youngest and the most digitally engaged population in the world.
The Prime Minister of Malaysia in June announced the Dana Penjana Fund of Funds, and Berita, the High, were pleased to collaborate in that initiative.
We are excited to work with Dana Penjana as a catalyst for the cross-border technology-related investment between Korea and Malaysia.
We are looking to attract foreign participation in this initiative is because private market funding is still a relatively nascent industry in Malaysia. By having foreign investment, we will be able to reap the benefits on two fronts. Firstly, talent development. As part of Dana Penjana national requirements, each foreign venture capital company is required to select a local partner to work together in managing the fund and subsequently devise a formal knowledge transfer program. This is to ensure that our talent in the local venture capital industry is being supported and developed through foreign-local partnership. Second, skill and network. The success of early-stage companies hinges greatly on the company's ability to scale and expand regionally out of Malaysia. With a larger network of stakeholders and funds, collaboration with international partners will enable smoother expansion and unlock new synergies regionally and globally for our investing companies.
Dana Penjana Nasional is at the heart of building and growing the digital ecosystem in Malaysia.
We see enormous opportunity coming out of Malaysia, the optimism, the hope of the people, the young population, the rapid adoption of technology makes this region very exciting.
We are incredibly excited to work together to support the initiative by Penjana Nasional.
As mentioned earlier, Dana Penjana Nasional initiative serves as an impetus to meaningfully develop the private capital market to facilitate the transition of Malaysia into the new economy. In this context, Dana Penjana has the potential to play an important catalytic role in nation building. Apart from this, we also hope that Dana Penjana Nasional will play an important catalytic role in strengthening Malaysia's private capital marketplace.
Once again, a round of applause for Dana Penjana. Ladies and gentlemen, a brief overview before we end our event. Penjana Capital has received expressions of interest from various venture capital firms across the globe, namely United States, Korea, China, Indonesia, Singapore, as well as Malaysia. In fact, as you can see here on the screen, some of them are here with us. Can all of you on screen wave? Yes, yes. Thank you for being here with us virtually. The interests are for various stages in the venture capital life cycle, from the seed and co-creation to growth stage and venture debt. These firms have indicated commitment to invest their funds into startups that will benefit the Malaysian ecosystem and conduct a knowledge transfer program with their selected local partners and investee companies. Dana Penjana has the potential to seed a more effective mobilization of risk capital towards a new area of growth in our economy. On that good note, we have now reached the end of our event. Before we leave the hall, I'd like to just capture everyone in the room. Can we just have our official photographers on stage to capture everyone from stage view? Although you can't be seen smiling, just